Do you remember the heartbeat? Oh, quiet in the woods, but an ominous feeling overwhelms you. Then, high-speed projectiles cut through the air. Bullets. Your brain shouts something about cover. Adrenaline floods through every inch of your body. You're playing poker in a casino. A seasoned rag stares you down across the field. His bets, precise, timed, surgical, hits you every single time he puts them down. Your pupils dilate, your body heats up, you can barely breathe. These are all real experiences I've had. In fact, I was so stressed I had to bring in a bag of baby wipes to the poker table just to cool my head down. But not anymore. Today, I'll share 4 stress management lessons that got me through Tarkov, poker, and even more than that, life. And no, I won't tell you to take deep breaths. These are deeper, more universal truths. Here's the first thing you need to understand about managing emotions. Think of your mind like a barrel, half logic, half emotion. The total volume never changes. If your emotion overflows, logic gets crushed. But if you deliberately engage your logical brain, you push the emotional part down. That's how you regain control. In Tarkov, where in every single raid, death means losing everything you have on you. Fear takes over. Your shots go wild, your mind screams run when you see enemies. But the moment you start mapping your route, checking extracts, planning rotations based on gunshots, you've engaged logic. Fear literally loses space. In poker, after a bad beat, tilt floods the barrel. But if you start calculating pot odds or revealing ranges, logic reclaims territory. That's the trick. When you feel overwhelmed, don't fight the emotion. Out-think it. But here's the catch. Even when you think logically, stress creeps back in. Because you're still chasing the result. You want to win, the loot, the stack. That obsession drags you right back into the emotional side. So instead, commit to your process, not the outcome. In Tarkov, before every raid, I set a rule like avoid dangers. Complete the task, then extract. That's it. I focus on execution, not survival. Ironically, I survive more. In poker, I stopped telling myself I must at least stay even tonight. I tell myself, play each hand by my strategy. The process is controllable. The result never is. When you shift from must success to must execute, stress loses its grip. But even a good process can collapse if you carry old emotions into new moments. You know that feeling, dying 3 raids in a row to some campers in bushes and corners, or losing a big hand to a bad beat, and suddenly everything feels cursed. That's emotional residue. It lingers, poisons your next decision before it even happens. Studies suggest that emotions dies down on its own in a matter of minutes or even seconds. What keeps you locked in the emotion for hours or sessions later is the mental rerun. The story you tell yourself, the replay of that bad hand. So before every new raid or session, I do a mental reset. I imagine closing a door behind me. The last failure stays there. Focus on the task at hand. This tiny pause clears the barrel, so logic gets its space back again. The feelings are short-lived, but your thinking keeps them alive. You can't think clearly if your head's still living in the previous disaster. But once your mind is clear, a final trap remains. You might think the goal is to eliminate stress, to stay calm no matter what, then, but that's not true, because if you have no stress at all, you're too relaxed to perform. And if you have too much, you freeze. The real skill is finding that middle zone, where your body is charged but your mind is steady. In Tarkov, I used to fall apart the moment I get spotted. My heart would race, my hands would shake, I default to pressing caps lock. But when I hit that balance, everything slowed down. The stress was still there, but now it was fuel. I stopped seeing it as a threat and started using it as an aid. Every sound, every shadow became information, not danger. My body was tense, but my mind was clear. Poker's the same. When you're under pressure, every bet feels personal. Every pot feels life or death. But when you manage that pressure just enough to stay sharp, you start seeing patterns instead of threats. The stress doesn't cloud your logic anymore, it sharpens it. It stops working against you and start working for you. That's the key. You don't want to get rid of stress, you want to reframe it. Because once it's managed, stress isn't your enemy, it's your ally. To sum up, your mind has a fixed space for emotion and logic. Stress isn't your enemy. It's just what happens when emotion takes the wheel too much and logic falls asleep. When bullets fly or chips are down, you can't choose calm, but you can choose which part of your mind gets the barrel space. Find the sweet spot of stress, enough to sharpen you, not enough to freeze you, and reframe that pressure as an aid, not an enemy. Do that, and stress stops controlling your choices. You do. Because control isn't about being fearless, it's about being conscious, even when you run so hard you need baby wipes to cool down. Remember, the mind is a barrel. We can't empty it of feelings, but we can balance it and live with the space we create.